over the past month or so, I've gotten to know you. I've gotten to know your heart. I've gotten to know about your faith. You're a Christian. You walk strong in your faith. Tell us a little bit about, if you would, how you came to be having your faith as a centered part of your life. And tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a Christian and your walk in the Major League Club.
Well, I grew up in the church. I've been around church my whole life. My parents, my mom especially, went all out in terms of getting me into church. And I thought I knew what having a relationship with Christ was all about. I really did. I thought I had that figured out until I made it to the big leagues and fulfilled my dream, the one goal that I put before everything else. And when that dream fell into place, and that was the one thing I put above anything else. And when I accomplished that dream, it was like, what now? I had fulfilled my dream in life at the age of 21. What do I do now? And I was so grateful for what had taken place. I, at that moment, knew that I had put everything before God. And coming to that realization was tough for me, especially growing up in the church and thinking that I knew what it meant to wear a cross around my neck. I found out I was all wrong, and that was tough. And shortly after that, I decided that I was going to follow Christ and put Christ first in my life. It's not easy, man. Men in this world, it is not easy. But it is something that I strive to do on a daily basis. And, it's just like having that kid, man. You have that dream, that desire. When something miraculous happens in your life and you're grateful and you go around thanking people and it doesn't give you the fulfillment that you need to live this life, have meaning in your life. When you have that child and it's a miracle, who do you give thanks to? And if you can't give thanks to God, then you don't have a relationship with Him. And it is tough to realize that. And I went through it. And fortunately, I was young to go through it. Now I can live my life sharing that with others,
It's awesome. So, a little bit of a struggle in the Major League Clubhouse. Keeping that long.
It's tough, man. I mean, every temptation. I mean, now with the internet, we're one touch away from fantasy land, I mean, it's not, everybody's a big league player with a computer now, We're all major leaguers when you can get online, right?
Sure.
But for sure, my battle being in a Major League clubhouse is dealing with the fear factor. When you're going out and playing on it, they say the opposite of fear is faith, okay? Faith is hoping in something that you can't see, believing in something you can't see. You can't believe that you're going to be a Major League player. You can't believe that you're going to go out and get a base hit off of John Smoltz. You can't believe it. But when it happens because you had faith, you had the courage to go out there and do it, right? So, the biggest thing that I've had to deal with over the 10 years of being up and down the big leagues in AAA is there's a certain fear factor, and I think for men in general in this world, we go through fear. The fear that we're not going to be able to take care of our family, the fear that, men go through a lot.
Sure.
The
way we're wired.
It's the way we're wired, is to work, go out there and work, and you know what? You guys go out there and you work your tails off, and you don't know what you're gonna reap. This world will drag you down, knock you around, and to get back up is the toughest thing to do because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to get knocked down again. And the big leagues is very similar. And what I mean by that is you go 0 for 4. You strike out 4 times. And you just get flat out embarrassed on TV. And you know what? You don't sleep that night, and you're laying in bed, and you're like, man, as much of a dream as it is, you're like, man, I don't know if I can do it today. But that's where my faith kicked in. The next year after I accepted Christ, I very vividly remember going to the field and facing Pedro Martinez for the first time. And at that point, he was the best pitcher in baseball. And the first 2 at-bats I had, he made me look like I hadn't even swung a ball off the tee. It was that nasty. He threw 2 curveballs that started at my head and ended up for strikes, and I buckled my knees and went down like a little 4-year-old crying and dugout. I even think I sprinted to the dugout one time. I was like, I was so embarrassed. But the third time, man, I went up there and I started praying. You know, I was so fearful that I was going to strike out for the third time. I hate striking out. I hate it. And I remember saying Philippians 4:13, you know, over and over and over again in my head. And I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And I mean, the reason why I was scared to death is because I knew when he got 0-2 that he might be thinking that I'm looking for that curveball now and he's going to throw one right here. And I've got to sit back. And he got to 0-2 again like that. And I mean in 8 pitches, he didn't throw a ball. It was like, I went down in the first at bat 3 pitches. In the second at bat, I went down to 3 pitches. And in my third at bat, I'd already had an 0-2 count before I knew it, and I didn't know what to do, you know? But I kept saying a prayer, and all of a sudden, he throws that same curveball that he struck me out in the first 2 at bats, and I don't know how I hit it. I just hit it. I'm running the first base, and I was like, yeah! I can't believe it. I was like, only God could have done that. But, you know, my point is that, especially in Chicago was a big-time struggle for me, man. And that was because playing at 40,000 people every day, Wrigley Field, there's nothing better in the world than stepping out in that field and looking at that ivy on the wall, putting on that jersey. I got, you know, the game's televised every single day. You know, when I go out to eat, I've got to answer questions about why I went 1 for 4, 0 for 4, or why we lost the game. I can't even walk down the street without somebody recognizing me. And the fear factor really grew in my life. And it challenged my faith. And, you know, just through that experience alone, though, I was able to take a little bit here and a little bit of there. And I share the same thing that you guys share, going to work on an everyday basis. And, you know, it's just tough. Without my faith, who knows where I would be. I'm fortunate to have my wife and a family. When in this game and in this life, living in fear and doing those things, and you know, the thing that men is what we do to fill those voids when we have fear. We fill those voids with so many different things. And if we could just find the time to just really connect with God and just build that faith, everything seems to fall in place. And this is very true to my life. And the game nearly tore my life apart, nearly tore my marriage apart. It's nearly torn everything away from me. And if it weren't for my faith and the relationship that I have with God, I would not have the true desires of my heart, which is a family with kids. So, I mean, that's basically it.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, that's awesome. I love you, brother. Going into this